What's up everyone, this is Donnie aka Elevated with another video on behalf of Dota Alchemy, and thank you again for tuning in today. Also, special shout out to our audio sponsors for this one, Antlion Audio, whose mod mic system we are using to record this video. You can see it here attached to my favorite headphones in the world, the Audio-Technica MH50Xs. And the mod mic just attaches directly to headphones that I already have and love. So we'll tell you a little bit more about it later on in the video, but right now we're going to hop into a replay analysis of RTZ playing Sven. This is at the Singapore LAN that's going on right now. They're playing against Vici Gaming, a very good team, and this is one of those games where if RTZ does not carry the game, they certainly lose because everybody else was kind of feeding during this game, and so it's all about the Sven, and I wanted to focus on specifically how he farms to his power spike and plays from behind on a game-winning hero like Sven. So we can see just here in the laning stage, they have this pretty neat combo where Crit is down here tossing whoever he can find really back to RTZ, who has the Stormhammer, and then of course they have Fly on the Lich with his Slow and Frost Blast. And I think a lot of decisions as a carry can kind of be distilled down to a few critical moments in the game. So the first one that we're going to look at right now is that we are coming up on the 5-minute mark, and obviously that is bounty runes, but it is also nighttime. The laning stage is really starting to break down at this point, and that means that the carry has to make a decision. Is it safe for me to stay in this lane? Can I pressure the enemy tower, or do I need to look for farm elsewhere that is going to be a bit safer? So we can see that he's kind of just waiting to see where these heroes show up. Notice how he stays under his tower until the Crystal Maiden and the Quap and the Gyro and the Elder Titan and the Legion all show on the minimap. So now that it's nighttime, you can see that things are a bit dangerous and the laning stage is kind of starting to break down. Things are getting a little crazy. RTZ is probably looking for an exit plan for this lane, or really for any potential pressure coming in from Vici Gaming. Ori ends up showing up in his lane, and that is a hero that Sven certainly does not want to deal with at this point in the game, especially considering how farmed this Quap is. We can see in the last hits that Ori absolutely demolished Ovid in the mid lane. So huge amount of momentum for Vici Gaming at the moment, and that translates into heavy pressure on the EG side of the map. So because RTZ died, he has to make another very critical decision right away in this game, which is where am I supposed to go on the map? And as a carry, it's your job to get farm, to get your items, to get your power spikes, and the best way to do that is to get free and safe farm. However, the game state that he is currently in is a pretty dire one, because we have a level 3 offlane Doom, so he can't really switch lanes. If the Doom comes to the bottom lane, he's just going to feed, and Legion Commander and Quap are going to take the bottom tower. Can't really go to the mid lane because Razor, he doesn't want to rotate out of this lane either. He can't really go hold the bottom tower. And that means that really the only safe place to be is the jungle. And that is where a lot of lower level carry players would immediately default to, is I'm having a terrible lane, my teammates are still in their lanes, I'm just going to go farm the jungle. But it's really important to note that there is a catapult here, and additionally, RTZ makes the calculated decision to come back to this lane to defend the tower against the catapult wave, and also because the Queen of Pain does not have Sonic Wave and Legion Commander doesn't have Duel yet. So this is actually probably the safest place to be on the map at the current time outside of the jungle, but the jungle is an unacceptable place to be because if he does go to the jungle, he will lose his tower. If you've been watching our content for some time, you know that we like to talk about the importance of communication and how crucial a role it plays in winning games of Dota. And that holds especially true for difficult games like the one that we're watching. If you've noticed, there are very few times where the EG cores are all farming the same place, and they seem to be doing a pretty organized and good job of spreading out Vici Gaming and not getting completely steamrolled despite the dire state that this game is in. And that comes down to their communication. There's been a couple times where RTZ has showed up in places where it seems like it's dangerous, but it's been communicated that ultimates have been used, and so it's actually okay for him to be there because he's not in danger after all. And this kind of communication is only possible when you have a high quality microphone so that your teammates can understand you. And that is why we're super happy to be working with Antlion Audio as our audio sponsor for this video. I'm currently using their mod mic system to record this video, and I'm super happy to be able to do that because I've been able to take my existing favorite pair of studio headphones that give me amazing quality in audio to listen to music and movies, and I've attached a high quality microphone to them. The mod mic comes in 3 different types depending on what your situation might be. They have a 3.5mm jack, which is the standard microphone jack. They have USB, and they even have a wireless one, all of which can attach to your favorite pair of headphones in just a minute or 2 with the kit that comes with the microphone. And in no time at all, you can enjoy the sweet, sweet sound design of Dota 2 with your favorite headphones, and your teammates can enjoy your amazingly intelligent calls unless they have you muted for being toxic. So if you'd like to check out the mod mic or get it for one of your friends this holiday season, be sure to check out the link in our description below and pinned in the top comment below this video. And with that, let's get back into the video and figure out how RTZ is going to pull his team out of this hole. I think one of the most critical decisions to make on a carry is when you buy your BKB, and especially in a hero like Sven who needs the item to function in most games, it is super critical to have a BKB at the right time. In this particular game, there is no way that RTZ wants to buy a BKB after just Mask of Madness, Trez, and a Wand, but if we take a look at the course of the game, it is a 9,000 gold lead, 25 kills in 13 minutes for VG Gaming. So this game is well beyond getting out of control, and that means that all hands have to be on deck. That means that there is no way that RTZ can just play sort of a split pushy AFK style of carry. He doesn't have time to get his items. He has to be at a fight if there is a good opportunity to take it, and his hero cannot take a fight without BKB. So, you know, if this game was going better, he might buy it at 30 minutes, he might buy it at 25 minutes, he might buy it at 40 minutes, depending on how the game is going. But because this game is just about to go to the point where they cannot win anymore, he's going to go BKB as his first really major item because he has to be able to contribute in these fights. And so I think that that is the mark of a good carry player, is knowing when you cannot be greedy and when you absolutely have to go for the item that's going to allow you to fight right now. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how RTZ farms when he is far behind and there's no vision on the map. I'm sure many people out there probably have had this experience in their pubs, and it can be very daunting to figure out how you're supposed to even do anything when you can't see the other team and there just doesn't really feel like there's any farm available to get on the map. So we can see that he pushes out the top lane and then immediately goes into the jungle, and he's just kind of darting into the wave, clearing it quickly, disappearing off the map, and not really giving the other team enough time to figure out how to set up on him because he's very rarely showing. Now right here we see that EG makes a play on the gyrocopter mid, and as soon as RTZ identifies that Queen of Pain is teleporting to this fight, you can see he checks it, Queen of Pain is TPing, he sees her TPing to the mid lane, and then he immediately runs for the top wave. Sometimes you have to make space for yourself, and sometimes you have to use your teammates feeding their bodies into the other team to create that space. So you can see that he runs up here, he clears the siege wave very, very quickly, and once again disappears off the map because now that the fight is over, Vici is likely going to be rotating their heroes out of the mid lane. But because they're still sitting there, we can see on the minimap that there are still at least 2 heroes mid. RTZ says, okay, well, let's clear this next wave really quickly so that the siege wave starts hitting the tower, and that is going to force rotations out of Vici Gaming as well. And this is the space that I was talking about, because now that there's a TP of the Crystal Maiden top, and the Legion Commander runs over here, now he has determined that there are 2 heroes that are stuck in the top lane, so if he is able to get out, he can go somewhere else, knowing that there's only 3 other heroes to cover the entire rest of the map, which is a lot of territory for 3 heroes to have to enforce. And this is often the kind of cat and mouse game that you have to play as a carry, especially when your team is having a bad game and they're not able to buy you the space to get your items. You just have to push a wave, sort of disappear off the map, reposition yourself somewhere else that seems slightly better, and if the other team encroaches into your new safe space, like Vici is doing here, they're doing a really, really good job of corralling EG back into their base. RTZ doesn't just go back to base and then TP somewhere else, he just walks all the way to the other side of the map. Because where's the farthest place away from Vici Gaming? It's the opposite side from where they just came from. And so he's going to walk up to his triangle and look for an opportunity to maybe create a little bit of pressure up here. When you're a carry in phase 1 of the game, it's extra important to think about how your positioning is affecting the other team and their positioning. And in this case, we see that RTZ is shoving out the mid wave, and then he's going to run bottom and shove out the bottom wave. And this is sort of a long con move that he's making right now, because all of Vici Gaming, except for the gyrocopter, just rotated top to take a fight and secure the outpost up there. Now, we see that RTZ is moving to the bottom lane, and he just finished his BKB as well. And now we're going to see him push out a couple of waves. This move is super cool because he shoves out the 2 waves, knowing that there's about 30 seconds until the outposts are going to be active again, and the bounty runes will spawn, which means that it's time for Vici Gaming to split up their forces. And because Vici is so strong right now, they are most likely going to be in a fairly wide spread because they are having so much of the map to control and to farm. And so this is the perfect opportunity for EG to take a fight around this important timing of the BKB on their Sven. What makes this play so cool is that he set it up 30-40 seconds in advance by shoving the bottom wave, which means that Vici is going to have to start thinking about defending the bottom outpost. And then, because their forces are going to be somewhat spread and having to decide where to go, and suddenly he shows up top, there are going to be people TPing into the outpost and kind of straggling in to shut down RTZ's push out, which is the perfect bait for a 5-man smoke behind this BKB. And we can see as the fight starts that because this pattern of RTZ shoving a lane and then disappearing and then appearing on the other side of the map and shoving a lane alone has kind of baited Vici Gaming into an almost lazy approach to this fight. Sure, they have 4 heroes here, but the gyrocopter is kind of slowly making his way across, and the Vici positioning is not super ideal because they were kind of caught a little bit too far forward, and this means that EG actually has access to the heroes that they want to target, which we see the Doom being tossed in. They're able to initiate on both the Legion Commander and the Queen of Pain at the same time, which is going to allow them to take a really, really, really good fight around this 10-second BKB on the Sven. And I love all the little things that RTZ does right. His teammates kind of have the mop-up duty in the top lane taken care of, so he heads immediately to the mid wave to clear out the siege wave and ensure that his catapult will hit the mid tower on his way to getting the bottom bounty rune. And this move is cool because it means that Vici has to respond to it, otherwise they're going to potentially lose their mid tower, but RTZ's not even there for them to pressure if they do respond. So they're going to not only have to reveal which heroes are in the mid lane, but it's also going to allow RTZ to then make a decision from the fog where Vici has no idea where he is, and he can either pressure the bottom lane and create pressure in 2 lanes, or he can go somewhere else and continue to farm his way to bigger and better items. And here's another great move where RTZ is shoving in the top wave, and he forces a TP from the Legion Commander to respond, otherwise he's going to take this tower. And he immediately transitions from the pushing top to running to the mid wave, where they can then take the mid tower after getting a kill on the Crystal Maiden. So all these movements of quickly shoving in waves is forcing Vici Gaming to respond in multiple places at the same time, and that means that EG is able to pick and choose which fights they want to take, and pick apart this Vici Gaming lineup that was 13,000 net worth ahead of them and is now only 8. So now that EG is feeling quite strong, they want to take a fight around the Roche Pit, because if they can win a fight and get the Aegis, that is their ticket to going high ground. So the targets that they want to look for are the ones that are going to stop them from being able to do the Roshan, and unfortunately that's quite a few of the heroes on Vici. Queen of Pain can be annoying, Gyrocopter can be annoying, Crystal Maiden can be annoying, Legion can be annoying, and Elder Titan is probably the most difficult hero to deal with when you're trying to get the Aegis. So if they can find the ET, that would be super nice. They smoke up and head into the Vici Gaming territory with a scan and are able to find that critical target in the Elder Titan, immediately bursting him down with God Strength and transition directly into the Roshan pit. Now, Roshan is one of the most, I think, misunderstood objectives in the entire game, because if you watch pro teams play, and EG are one of the best teams at doing this, Team Secret was famous for this last year, they will use Roche as a way to force the other team to take a fight they don't want to take. It's not necessarily about getting the Aegis, it's about making the other team fight you when you feel like you're stronger than them and they've been avoiding fights against you. So we can see that here as EG heads directly into the pit, trying to utilize this God Strength and also potentially claim the Aegis with the ET dead. But obviously Vici knows. This fight just happened around the pit. They know that EG is going to try and take the Roche, so they're going to buy back on the Elder Titan. And I really, really like how quickly EG, as soon as the ET, like almost before the ET is bought back, they're already out of the pit trying to make a play, because usually what happens when a hero buys back is that the other heroes are already collapsing on that area, and that creates a really, really small window of sort of the enemy team trickling in, and that means that there might be somebody out of position. And in this case, it's the Gyrocopter who's running up to try and contest the Roshan and expecting his ET to be there in a second to back him up, but he's a little bit too far forward, which allows EG to doom him and take him out of the fight right away. So now, boom, another buyback on the Gyrocopter, and we can see how quickly EG says, all right, let's disengage now. We've already gotten 2 buybacks. We killed the Gyro, we killed the ET, and we got buybacks from both. BKBs are down. We need to back out of here. And we're not even really risking the other team taking the Roche, because they don't want to take a fight around the pit. They were only doing it because you were forcing them to be there. So all we have to do is wait until we have God Strength, we have our BKBs back online, and we can just go right back into the pit, knowing that if they do try to contest, we can literally just win the game if we win a fight there. I think it's really cool to watch plays develop in Dota, because I think a lot of times we don't really recognize just how far back the cause and effect relationship goes. In this case, we see that RTZ is shoving out the bottom wave, and in a couple of minutes, this will all come to fruition. He's going to shove out one more wave, which is going to force a response eventually from Vici to defend their bottom tier 2 tower. And here we are about a minute later. EG has just been keeping the bottom wave shoved in, and that is going to allow them to set up a play to go across the map and hopefully find a pickoff on Vici that's going to allow them to go high ground. And the way that they're doing this is they're putting pressure in the bottom side of the map, which means that somebody on Vici is going to have to be here to respond, because Vici doesn't know where EG is. So if nobody responds, then EG could potentially just take their tier 3. So somebody has to be here, and based off of that knowledge that somebody on Vici is going to have to be in this bottom lane to deal with this wave, EG is going to smoke to the opposite side of the map, knowing that if they are going to find anybody on the other side of the map, they won't have full strength, because somebody will be stuck in the bottom side of the map dealing with this creep wave that's coming in. And sure enough, the smoke play ends up popping on Yang. They're going to be able to chase him down thanks to this amazing Aghanim Scepter from Sven, and get a super big kill on a hero with no buyback. So that's really it, guys. As you can see, it's really all about creating pressure, both when you're not the strongest hero on the map, and also when you are, to set up for good plays. Pretty much everything that we just watched in this entire video began with RTZ shoving a creep wave into a position that forced Vici to respond to it, and then him and the rest of Evil Geniuses were able to make a play off the back of the information that that creep wave gave them. And really, that is the core principle for coming back in a game that is hard as a carry, or really as any role. If the other team has a net worth advantage, it means that all 5 heroes together are stronger than you. However, if you can split up that net worth so that only 10,000 of it is over here and 15,000 of it is over here, then you can pick which one of those you want to attack, and instead of having a net worth advantage, you have 2 options where you can take a fight against a net worth disadvantage for the other team.